All right, fight fans, welcome back. You ready to put those prediction skills to the test?
Always ready to dive into the odds.
You know, we love to break down a fight, and today we're looking ahead at UFC 311.
Coming up, January 18th, 2025.
That's right. We've got Peyton Talbot going up against Raoni Barcelos.
And we're going to be taking a look at a prediction from jkcp.com.
Yeah, they seem to think this was going to be a pretty interesting matchup.
Definitely some strong opinions from the odds makers on this one.
Oh yeah, for sure. Let's just jump right into it.
Let's do it.
The odds, I mean, they're pretty wild, right? Talbot's coming in as a huge EE favorite.
Yeah, you're looking at like what, negative 900 to 1200 range, depending on where you look.
I mean, that is a serious statement right there.
The odds makers are really confident in Talbot on this one.
So it's not just that they think he's going to win, but
It's the level of confidence.
yeah, they're putting some serious weight behind that prediction.
Exactly. And, got to look at the tail of the tape here. Classic youth versus experience.
Right, because Talbot, he's the young gun, right?
25 years old, undefeated, 9-0.
And you can't forget that knockout power.
Oh, yeah. 7 of his 9 wins have come by knockout. So
I mean, he's got that lightning fast left hook, man.
seriously, that's a huge factor for the odds makers.
You got to imagine
Well,
Barcelos,
yeah.
though. He's got the experience, though,
Oh,
right?
absolutely. Seasoned veteran, 39 years old.
Doesn't that count for something?
Oh, for sure. He's well-rounded, good, striking, strong Brazilian jiu-jitsu background.
You know, he's been in there with the best of them.
He has, but the odds makers, they got to be looking at his recent record,
Not as consistent lately, right?
2 wins and 3 losses in his last 5.
And one of those was a loss to Kyler Phillips
Mm-hmm.
recently.
So, yeah, that's definitely going to play into it.
Yeah, and you can't ignore the physical differences either.
That height and reach advantage, right?
Talbot's 5'11" with a 70.5-inch reach compared to Barcelos at 5'6" with 67 inches.
I mean, that's significant, right?
Absolutely plays a role, for sure. How do you think that's going to play out in the fight?
Well, you got to think Talbot's going to try to use that reach to his advantage.
Keep Barcelos at a distance, land those power shots.
Exactly.
But that's what makes it interesting for Barcelos.
Yeah, how does he close that distance?
Can he get inside? Work that grappling game?
That's the million-dollar question right there.
Big question for the odds makers, too, for sure.
Absolutely, trying to figure out if he can nullify that reach advantage.
So we've got the classic tale of the tape, the recent form, the physical differences.
Starting to paint a picture of why those odds are leaning so heavily towards Talbot.
Yeah, even with all that experience Barcelos brings to the octagon.
Right, and that's what's so interesting about this fight.
But, let's not forget, upsets happen all the time in the UFC.
No, all the time. Keeps us on the edge of our seats,
That's what we love about it.
Exactly. Keeps things exciting and unpredictable.
For sure. So JKCP, they're predicting a first-round TKO for Talbot.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. But I
Right.
think
But there's got to be more to it, right?
there's always more to the story. You got to think about the mental game, too,
Ooh, yeah, good point. How do you see that playing out?
Well, you got Talbot. He's the rising star, undefeated, all those expectations.
A lot of pressure on those young shoulders.
Exactly, and that can get to you.
Could definitely affect his performance.
On the other side, you got Barcelo Clucks. He might feel like he's got nothing to lose.
That's a dangerous fighter, right?
Well, yeah, it can free you up, come in with a completely different game plan,
Something we haven't seen before.
specifically designed to counter Talbot.
He could pull a rabbit out of his hat, so to speak.
Absolutely.
I like that. So we talked about those odds for a Talbot TKO.
Mm-hmm.
What about a Barcelos submission? What are those odds looking like?
Around plus 750, so a long shot for sure.
Long shot,
But remember, Talbot's takedown defense hasn't really been tested against someone like Barcelos.
against a grappler of his caliber.
If Barcelos can get him to the ground, drag him into deep water.
Those odds could start to look pretty tempting.
Yeah, he's a BJJ black belt with a nasty guillotine choke.
High risk, high reward for sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. Fighter stats, recent form,
The physical matchup,
even touched on those juicy underdog odds.
things are getting interesting.
This is where things get really interesting. I want to turn to you, the listener, for a second.
Think about it.
Mhm.
These odds, they're based on past performances,
Yes. Well, we've already seen.
perceived strength and weaknesses.
But what if Barcelos has been working on something new?
Exactly. What if he's been hitting that takedown defense hard?
Or maybe Talbot's got some secret weapon up his sleeve.
Maybe he's been training submissions.
That's what makes these predictions so tricky and so much fun.
It's like a puzzle, right?
Trying to put all the pieces together.
Using all the info we've got.
But you got to remember there are those intangibles too.
Oh, yeah, the fight IQ.
That that grit that some fighters have.
You know, that time Barcelos fought, what was his name?
You're going to have to remind me.
It's on the tip of my tongue anyway. He was getting outstruck early on.
Yeah.
But then Bam adapts, uses that veteran savvy,
Yeah.
catches the guy with a surprise guillotine choke.
See, that's the kind of experience advantage you just can't quantify.
Exactly.
It's not just about age, it's about knowing how to weather the storm.
And capitalize on those mistakes.
Yeah, even against a powerhouse like Talbot.
And don't forget those momentum swings.
One well-placed shot,
Changes the whole fight.
the odds makers can't predict that.
Nope.
So for you, the listener, what are the key takeaways here?
I mean, we've thrown a lot at you.
A lot to digest.
How can you use all this to make your own prediction?
Yeah, maybe even place a bet.
Well, first off, don't just blindly follow the odds.
Right, they're a starting point.
Reflection of expert opinion.
But you got to do your own research.
Absolutely. Dive deep into those fighter histories.
Yeah.
Watch their previous fights.
Really analyze those strengths and weaknesses.
Look for patterns, but also be open to surprises.
So Talbot has a weakness in the clinch, or
Maybe Barcelos has been training specifically to counter that left hook.
you never know.
You just never know.
We're going beyond the basic stats, trying to anticipate those clashes,
Where are the opportunities?
the vulnerabilities.
That's where you find those real insights.
And don't be afraid to challenge the odds makers.
Sometimes those underdog bets, if you've done your research,
You believe in a fighter?
those can pay off big time.
Remember famous underdog upset in UFC history? Classic.
Nobody saw that coming.
That's the beauty of this sport, right? It's unpredictable, full of twists and turns.
Keeps us coming back for more.
You never really know until those cage doors close.
So put on your analyst hat, weigh the evidence, and make your prediction.
What do you think is going to happen?
Do you agree with the odds makers that Talbot's going to get that first round TKO?
Or do you see Barcelos pulling off the upset?
Catching him with a submission?
Or maybe something completely unexpected happens.
We want to hear from you. And then, of course, the best part is actually watching the fight unfold.
Seeing how your analysis holds up,
Exactly.
whether you're a seasoned bettor or just a casual fan.
Enjoy the process, the analysis.
And most importantly, enjoy the fight.
Can't forget that.
We'll be back after the fight to break down what happened.
See who called it right?
Until next time, happy predicting. We really dove deep on this one.
Oh,
Huh?
yeah, stat styles the odds.
Even those gut feelings you get, you know.
When you've been watching these guys for a while,
But at the end of the day,
it's your prediction that matters.
what stood out to you?
Did JKCP miss anything?
You know, maybe you see a path to victory that nobody else is talking about.
That's the beauty of it, you know?
Always room for your own perspective.
It's not just about being right or wrong.
It's about really engaging with the fight,
Testing your knowledge.
refining those instincts.
And hey, if you get some bragging rights out of it,
Even better.
why not? Right.
But it all comes down to that thrill of the fight.
The unpredictability.
So watch the fight. See how your analysis holds up.
Did Talbot's power just prove too much?
Or did Barcelos' experience shine through?
Or maybe something crazy happened that nobody predicted.
Yeah, that's always a possibility.
Always keeps us guessing.
We'll be back next time to break it all down.
Until then.
Enjoy the show and keep those prediction skills sharp.